Let's go. Hey, yo, we back with another episode. This is the week one game review, 49ers versus Bears. Not what I was expecting, but hey man, let's go ahead and dive into it, brother. Wait. First off,
Cheers. Cheers. Hold on,
cheers.
this green screen
Cheers.
got me all crazy. There you go.
Yeah, always a toast. All right, man. With that, let's go ahead and dive in. So the game recap. Let me start off by saying this, and I want to let this be known, brother. I got everything right here. Time of possession, 49ers 33 minutes, the Bears 26 minutes. We dominated that. Total yards, we had 331 total yards. They had 204. We passed for 155. They passed for 105. We rushed for 176. They rushed for 99. They didn't even have a 100-yard rushing. Okay. First down, 17 to 15. Penalties. This is the biggest thing of the game. The penalties were 12 penalties to 3 penalties. We had 12. They only had 3. We had 2 turnovers. They had 1. We both had 2 sacks apiece. And we had a total of 67 plays ran. They only ran 56 plays. Now, with the tell of the tape, the Niners dominated this game. They dominated it. Time of possession, they dominated it. Total yards, first downs, whatever you want to look at, this should have been a Niner win. This is not a game looking at the tell of the tape like that we should have lost. But for some reason, and for reasons that we will get into, we didn't win this game. So, bro, what? I'll let you dive into it first. What is your first take on why we lost this game, brother?
I mean, from the beginning, my personal opinion, a lot of people don't want to agree with me, but I hate games like this, bro. I hate games in the rain like this, just like super heavy rain. It,
Yeah,
to me, it's I get it. You want the team organizations to get paid and all that stuff, but I mean, to me, it's just whack, bro. Like you don't really get like a really good idea of performances. I mean, it's just sloppy play back and forth, and it's one of those like chuck it up to luck. Whoever kind of does the luckiest thing, or or whatever, it comes out the winner, right? Because they can't really grip the ball, they can't really pass the ball. I mean,
right.
the field is extremely, bro. It looked like a swimming pool out there.
It did.
So
It did.
I mean, with that being said, I thought it was a boring game. I thought we shot ourselves in the foot. But like I told you before, this is typical of Kyle Shanahan's era. That in almost every
Yeah.
year he has a game where it's just like what are you doing? I'm glad it happened week one. Um, just a little uneasy because we do have a new quarterback. This is essentially
Right.
Trey's rookie year, so I think everybody's nervous right now. And obviously nerves are getting worked up because Mr. Jimmy G's on the roster. So overall, man, terrible game. Honestly, man, we look like amateurs out there. Like you said, the penalties. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it was a mess.
All right, so I mean, I'm gonna go with penalties is the reason why we lost this game. There's numerous reasons why that I could say we lost this game, but I'm leaning more toward penalties than
Yeah.
anything. You have 12 penalties, over 100 yards worth of penalties. I don't care what team you are in the National Football League, you're probably going to lose that game. Chances are anytime you have, I'd say probably over 8 penalties, it's going to be tough to win that game. So penalties to me was the main factor, and some of them were boneheaded. But I do want to go ahead and give Fields his credit because some of those penalties he made happen. If you saw Trey Lance when he ran, he would either put his head down or go for the hit. And Fields knows how to get down, bro. He's sliding feet first, and he's leading those dudes in, and he's waiting to the last second to slide. 2 penalties on that alone. Fields made a lot of that happen. So I got to give Fields his credit. He did what he was supposed to do in that game. Weather conditions, though, also, like you said, played a pretty big factor. Chicago is more used to playing in a game of that caliber. A cold weather, maybe rainy. You know what I mean? That leaned a little bit toward them. But if you look at the tail of the tape doesn't say that was the factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. Tough loss. It was a boring game. It wasn't a grab you by the hey, you gotta watch this. It's some amazing shit happening type
Nah,
of game.
not
It
at
really
all.
wasn't. But us being fans, man, we're gonna stick to it and we're gonna watch it anyway. But yeah, bro, for
Which
sure.
made it more which made it more frustrating was the loss was because it was a boring game. It was one of those like obviously we're fans and we watch it to the end, but it was one of those like this has got to be the worst thing ever, bro. Shitty weather,
Yeah, yeah.
a little bit of action, and then on top of that, bro, you dominate the game and fucking lose. I mean, I'm
And
just kind of
I also want to say what I saw. One thing that really turned the game around to me was Elijah Mitchell getting hurt. That injury,
oh yeah,
Elijah
yeah.
Mitchell was turning off, 5, 6, 7 yard runs, looking good, looking like Mitchell looks, but looking like Mitchell looks, he got hurt. And that's another look of Elijah Mitchell. He's known to get injured, throughout games. So that also turned the game around to me. But anything else you want to put on it?
I mean, to the running back thing is, I mean, okay, you start out, you put out there Wilson. But Wilson isn't really cutting it, and you have Mason sitting on the bench, bro, like ready to jump in, and you don't utilize him at all.
Yeah,
Like,
bro.
so you know what I'm saying? I know we've discussed this before, but it just kind of leads to the mystery of Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, he's a genius play caller, but it's these little brain farts that he has, bro, that have literally cost us Super Bowls.
Yeah, yeah. And the game plan
And
did look a little vanilla, like you said. It's one of those games where you're like, what is Kyle calling? And maybe the weather is why he did it. Maybe it was Trey's first start. He didn't want to put too much on his plate. Who knows, man? But all in all, game recap, 49ers take an L. We're on 1 to start the year. And we'll see what happens, man. We'll go from there. Let's go ahead and keep it rolling. Mm, mm. All right. So you were a little tougher on Trey than I was, so I'll let you go ahead and beat him over the head, if you will, and go ahead and give me what you think, man. What you think about Trey Lance's
I mean,
performance?
mine came more out of emotions. Obviously being the first game of the year.
Right,
Really rooting for the dude. Just I think putting my expectations too high. I thought he was going to be better than what he looked like. I mean, again, the monsoon and everything, so I wasn't expecting much. But to your point, when you were talking about Fields did enough to get his team the dub. Obviously, this like you said, the stat line can't say it all. I mean, because clearly we dominated. But to my point with Trey Lance, it was. I guess it's more of a critique of maybe Kyle. Maybe Trey Lance isn't there yet. I don't know. But my thing was we spent so much capital to go up and get him, right? Because
right,
Jimmy's not mobile and he just doesn't have that little extra to get us over the hill, right?
right.
All I saw on Sunday, and it could be weather, it could be Kyle just kind of not trusting Trey. Aside from the
Could be.
really nice passes he did make, because I don't think he did a completely terrible job.
Mhm.
To your point of running the ball, he looked like a down the hill running back. I mean, there was nothing elusive about him. And once the game kept progressing in the second half, I mean, the Bears' sorry ass defense really didn't wasn't scared anymore because he didn't provide much than just moving around in the pocket slightly with our
Mhm.
terrible line, and if not, he would just run straight down the middle. I mean, yeah, he had a couple jukes, but I mean, you look
Yeah.
at Fields, and he's like running circles, making plays happen, keeping the play alive,
Mhm.
and
Looking downfield. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So my thing with Trey is that like I know it's week 1, so it's an overreaction. This is not even like me thinking he's going to be like this all year, right? But
Right.
I mean, you spend so much, and you talk about like Kyle said he wanted a Lamar Jackson with a Drew Brees arm. I didn't see no Lamar Jackson there at all. I mean, he
um,
just looked like a down the hill runner,
yeah, no,
honestly.
no, for sure he did.
But
I agree.
overall he did a good job. He did a good job
Yeah,
overall being the circumstances. But again, we're talking about football here, and the big news was Fields versus Trey Lance. What was the difference, right? Obviously, Fields is going to get praise, even though he played like doo-doo the whole game, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that Fields played an amazing game, but
Right, right.
he had two magical plays, and that's all it took to beat us. And sometimes that's
That
all you
was
need to win the game,
that's
regardless
all
of
you need.
domination. And I know Kyle's thing is to dominate the clock and everything, but sometimes,
Yeah,
that could rear its ugly head on you because you dominate the game so much and you don't score. You let teams hang around, and two magical plays all it takes. I mean, we've been witness to it with Seattle when Russell Wilson was
right,
around, kept the
right.
games tight. What would he do? Scramble, scramble, scramble. TD.
Yeah, late in the game, come back and leave it up to Russell to take the
and
game.
and and that's what Trey's supposed to do. And I know it was towards the end of the game, and it started freaking, rivering. It's not even a word, but rivering rain, bro. It was like a river coming down.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, but he started throwing some like erratic throws. It just felt like he was already uncomfortable on top of the rain, and he was just
Mhm.
sailing these passes way, way, way over the heads of the players. And people could say, yeah, it was the rain. I get it. It probably was. But it just seemed like something he was doing last year. And it seemed like he panicked. And that's what happens, right?
Right.
So my thoughts. What about you?
All right. So pretty much what you alluded to, man. What I will say, let me start by saying this. I felt like Trey looked decent for 2.5 quarters. He didn't look terrible to me. At one
Yeah.
point, he had a 90 passer rating. He was looking downfield. He was going through his progressions. He looked like he could run the offense if it wasn't a bad weather game. Like he would be a decent enough quarterback to get us that win. I was pretty confident. We're up 10-0. Momentum was going. Everything was going fine. But for some reason, at some point in this game, I kind of felt like it shifted. I don't know if it was the first touchdown by Catboy Dante Pettis that started to
That's what
take
it
a little
was.
momentum away from us, but Trey started to digress. He started not progress, but he was digressing as the game went on. I started to see more overthrows. I started to see him look a little more unsure in the pocket. Uh looking to scramble a little sooner. It was like he slowly started to break down as the game progressed. And hats off to the Bears defense, man, for putting Trey in a position where you're going to have to beat us. That
Right.
and that's something that you had told me before. You alluded to that. It's like you're going to have to beat us with your arm, Trey. We're not going to let you beat us with your legs. We're going to keep the pressure on you. Offensive line didn't do the greatest. There was some pressures that was coming through at a pretty high clip. But he was put in a position where Trey, you're gonna have to beat us. You're gonna have to win this game, and he didn't do it. And as the game progressed, like I said, and the rain started to come down even heavier. Once we were down 10-13, it seemed like every possession that we had got the ball, the rain just came down heavier and heavier, and Trey got worse and worse and worse. Do I think Trey's going to be a terrible quarterback? No. Like I said before, man, it's an unknown. It's an unseen. We're learning as we go right now of what Trey Lance is going to be. We don't know what he's going to be, but all in all, his performance for the game, I'm gonna give Trey like a C plus, and that's me being nice. I easily could give him a C minus or say that it was a D plus performance. But like you say, you factor in the rain, you factor in all the elements. His first start of the season. I'm gonna give Trey like a C plus for that game, man. I'm looking forward to next week to see what he does. Seattle's defense looked pretty good tonight. Seattle played pretty well, so it's going to be a tall order. It's going to be a tough game for Trey, and we'll see what happens, brother. Let's go ahead and slide on to the next, mate.
Let's do it.
Now this right here, I got something to say about this, but I'm gonna let you go first since we kind of going back and forth. We taking turns. How do you feel about the defense in this game? Did the defense cost us this game?
And my answer is gonna be like a segue into the topic right now. So with yeah, I do think the defense costed us the game. I don't know what happened at what point, bro. It just seemed like it was a snap of a finger and everybody disengaged and said, "Hey, yeah, let's fuck this game up," right? Because we were playing so good, bro. It was so weird. It was
Yeah,
so weird because it was, at least on TV, it didn't look like it was raining at all.
yeah, yeah,
And I thought, at that one play, the TD to Pettis, I thought we were gonna sack him, couldn't, and it seems like it's still an issue from the past years that we can't seem to adjust to mobile quarterbacks. I'm not saying that all these other teams can, but it
yeah.
just seems like we do a terrible job at it. I mean, Dante Pettis was wide open, man,
Mm,
wide open.
mm.
And after that, I felt like the shift in the game. You saw it, like it was. I mean, I was like, God damn, we were only at 10 points, and then they scored a touchdown, 10-7, and
Mhm.
then that's when you really started seeing the monsoon of penalties. The They were being undisciplined.
Yes.
Drake Greenlaw. I mean, if I'm Kyle, bro, I'm taking away some plays from him next week, bro. Just, I mean, as a punishment, you gotta show these guys, what's up, right? You can't.
Yeah.
I understand that Kyle's a player's coach, but I mean, you caught he pretty. I would almost say, bro, he was in the defense. He was one of the major reasons why we lost this game. Stupid flags. Although there were some calls that phantom calls that we got against us, bro. That just
Yeah.
it didn't make any sense. But I think that started it, and then the frustration just kind of boiled over.
Mhm.
And then I put it on the defense only because Trey is still young, man, and it seems like Kyle got him on restriction. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
And my point to that is, if you're gonna keep him restricted to where he doesn't do anything but just climb the pocket a little bit and get sacked because our O line is terrible, bro, then what are we doing here?
Mhm.
Throw Jimmy in there. The quick short passes is why we survived last year.
Uh, I like that. I like it. I like it. I am gonna give the defense about 50% of the blame for why we
F.
lost this game. I'm gonna give them half of it. I'm gonna give them half of it. Well, the points that were scored, one off of the turnover from Trey. So Trey actually set them up in good position for them to get that touchdown. It was a short field. But I don't know, man. Like you said, Huff was balling. The defense was playing
Yeah.
lights out so early in that game that you thought it was just going to be a walkover. I didn't expect this to happen. No, I'm sure nobody expected this to happen. But when you blow coverages on multiple plays, like you said before, it only takes a few plays. It took 2 plays for Fields to be able to find an open receiver to result in 2 touchdowns. If we only scored 10 points, those 2 touchdowns was enough for them to win the game, essentially. That's all it took.
Yep.
The first touchdown that Pettis scored, it was a blown coverage. I think somebody left their zone because Fields was, he was scrambling. It looked like he was going to get sacked. He rolled out. He got away. He found open space and he was able to hit somebody. That does happen in football, but as a defense, you got to stay disciplined. You got to play your spot on the field, regardless to what the quarterback is. If you're in zone and you're playing your zone, you got to play your zone. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And so the defense definitely they slipped up on that one. The second touchdown, and to me, I think it was just as bad of a blown coverage. They really bit on the run, on that play action, like as if you see the defense shift and slide down. You got a guy running a lazy post. He didn't even run the best route, but he was able to find, the open field and he scored a touchdown. But to get to my main point of why I'm only giving defense half of this blame is because I heard Kyle say before week 1 that Trey is not going to have to win these games. That this team is going to support Trey. That means we're going to lean on this defense. That means this defense ain't supposed to have slip ups like that. If we're leaning on the defense to carry this team or to help Trey out because Trey is a young quarterback, the defense did not hold up their end of the bargain in this game. So I'm giving them half the blame, and the other half I can blame on penalties and bad weather. But the defense definitely takes some blame, bro. They have to take some blame. Bad penalties, like it wasn't 49er football, bro.
I mean, yeah, the penalties were nuts, man. I mean, like I was saying, the crazy switch, crazy theory alert right here, real quick. We're not even gonna dive into just quick little. What if the players lost this on purpose, bro, to get Jimmy back in there? Kind of a statement like, see, Trey couldn't do it.
Mm. Now, the thing about that is, I feel like it's going to take more than just this one game. So we'll see next week going into the game. You sent me the clip.
That's
Trey
what
gets,
I was gonna allude to
yeah,
that.
you
Yep.
sent me the clip. Trey gets sacked. Mike McGlinchey, Trent Williams, they're right there. They look at Trey. They look up and they walk away. They don't help him up. Usually you see offensive linemen, they're pulling their quarterback up. They're dusting him off. They're fixing his jersey over his shoulder
Yep.
pad. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And I didn't see that. Maybe you got something going with your little crazy take. It might be something to that because we know it's a veteran locker room. We know this team is really good. We know this is a Super Bowl caliber team. And maybe there's some dudes in that locker room that ain't comfortable with giving the keys to Trey. Just because Kyle said we giving the keys to Trey, don't mean everybody in that locker room agrees with what Kyle's decision was. I'm sure, and I'll put it to you like this, and I'll let you get back on it. But I'd say at this point, it kind of feels like it's 50-50 in that locker room. 50% of those dudes are kind of like, Jimmy in Jimmy in the cut. Can we get Jimmy in the game? Like, and the other half are just like, you know what? Kyle said this dude is the man, and we're gonna see what he can do, and let's see if we can win. But go ahead, man. I know you look like you got something to say. Go ahead and let me know.
I mean, since we're there, man, I'm just gonna move it to the next topic, right? I mean, we're
All right.
already
Keep it
kind of
rolling.
segueing
Keep
there.
it rolling.
So, I don't even think it's 50-50, bro, to be honest with you. I think the only dude that hated Jimmy in that locker room was Brandon Ayuk. He was the only one that was working with Trey in the offseason.
Facts.
Debo did not have any interest in working out with Trey, bro. You obviously remember he said, "I don't work out in Cali."
Tell him to come and work out with me. He want to work out with me. Tell him to come. Yeah.
What is that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that threw me off, right? And I was thinking maybe it's just because of negotiations. Like, he's trying to play hardball. You know, like, I'm not gonna go to Cali unless I get paid.
Right.
But after like all the stuff that came out, that he said that, you know, his manager was doing all the talking pretty much, and that he wanted to stay with the Niners and this and this and that. It just didn't make any sense. But I think that Ayuk is the only guy that wants Lance to play. I mean, you're talking about Kittle, you're talking about Deebo Samuel. These are all guys that have gotten paid off of Jimmy. Whether we want to say Jimmy sucks or he's good and he only wins or he doesn't win, he's a terrible quarterback, he can't win us a Super Bowl. Whatever it is, you got to remember these players have gotten paid because of him. Deebo Samuel became a wideback because of Jimmy's limitations. So in his eyes, if Jimmy's playing, I could get a bigger contract. I could renegotiate after these 3 years, right? Trent, again, getting paid, right? I protected Jimmy. His limitations, I protected him. Mm-hmm. And we were able to go to NFC Championship game, right? Things like that. Kittle, obviously, I mean, it seems on the surface like he loves Jimmy, right? We could be wrong. I don't know.
Right.
But the only person that made it clear that he did not like Jimmy was Brandon Ayuk.
You know what? I kind of I see where you're going with that. I kind of agree. And it's like you said, man, when you've gone to war with a quarterback and you've been in those trenches and you've been in those big games and you've been in those fights, those dog fights, you know what Jimmy's made out of. You know what he can do. With all the limitations and the things that he can't do, you know what he can do. So I could actually see the team kind of feeling that way. I just don't want that to bleed into week after week after week because it's only going to cost us games. If this is truly how the team feels, you know what's going to start happening? You know what's going to start happening? Guys are going to stop running routes in the middle of plays. Blockers are going to stop blocking after a few seconds. And it ain't going to help us win games. I want to say this. I don't believe that Jimmy Garoppolo would have won us that game.
Oh, no, I'm not saying all that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. No.
You know, I just got to throw that out there. I don't believe Jimmy would have won that game. With the way the pressure was coming in, Trey was able to scramble and get away from guys. He was able to avoid sacks. Hell, he scrambled, picked up first downs. He was able to do things that I know Jimmy wouldn't have been able to do in that game and in that weather. But at the same time, dude, I just really hope, bro, it's not as many players as you think that it might be. And it very well could be, bro. It could be more than 50. It could be 75% of the team wants to see Jimmy. And I told you this before. I said this before jokingly in our show that we weren't able to get up. But I'll turn coat. If Trey's not in and we lose the next two games and we're 0-3, me myself, I'm gonna say, hey man, this team is too good to throw the season away. We need to get Jimmy back in there. I'm gonna do it. Because more than anything, hey, I'm a Niner, homie. I'm with the colors, bro. Regardless of anything,
Yep,
I'm
that's
about
facts.
winning. The
That's
quest for
facts.
6, brother. I want to win. As much as I like Trey Lance, I'm a Trey Lance dude. Hey, I took the Niners drafting him before the draft even happened. You
That's
know what I
facts.
mean? I'm all for Trey. But I ain't for throwing away no season, homie. I ain't for losing games that we don't need to lose. That's what I'm not about. So we'll see, brother, man. I'm really hoping that that ain't the case, but it very well could be, man. Let's go ahead and keep it rolling.
I mean, to that point, do we wait till week 3? Let's say we go 0-2. Do we wait to possibly lose another game to make the switch? I mean, because it seems like in this wild west, it seems like you lose 3 games. I mean, you lose 4, it's looking really rough. I mean, last year we made it out, but
Yeah.
I think we were at least what 2-3. But do you wait to go 0-3 to make the change, or do you say, all right, man, you lose to Seattle? And look, I saw the Seattle game today. I've seen a lot of fans on Twitter kind of panicking already, right? Saying like, "Oh man, we better not lose this game. We lose this game. Seattle looks competitive. Seattle's always going to be competitive against us. Like
Yeah.
that's something I'm not too concerned about. If Geno Smith beats this defense, bro, and Trey Lance looks stiff and stale, bro, and nothing happens, I I don't wait till week 3, bro. Again, this is like you said, a Super Bowl caliber team. I'm not
Roster.
gonna
Yeah.
waste this as an experimental year, right? I was talking to one of my boys about this. He's like, I don't care, you leave Trey Lance in there. I'm like, look, man, you got this all wrong. Yeah, maybe you as a fan want to say, yeah, let's experiment and fuck it, we got guys on contracts. That's not how the guys in the locker room feel.
Yeah,
Winning the Super
facts.
Bowl is very rare. And if you got most of the guys that you think you could win it with, you're not gonna be like, yeah, let's do this year and develop Trey, right? When we could have done it last year.
Right. Okay, so will we bounce back? I don't know. Like you just said, watching Seattle tonight, Seattle looks good enough to cut. Well, we're going into Seattle. They're looking good enough to get that dub. It's going to boil down to a few things, bro. Who's going to be the running back? You know what I mean? Are we going to be
Mason
able to
has
run
to
the
be.
rock? Is the defense going to show up? Now, this is a big game and it's a rival game. So I'm expecting the Niners to load up. I'm expecting Kyle to call up some stuff. You don't want to start 0-2 in this division. You just alluded to that. You know, you start off 0-2 and you falling back 2 games and Seattle will be up 2 games. You don't want that to happen. So I'm really hoping that we can bring the fire in this game, homie, and do something, bro. Now, as far as us going 0-2, once we are 0-2, if we are to go 0-2, say we do lose, do you keep Trey as the quarterback? Now, me knowing Kyle's stubborn. When Kyle makes
Oh
a
yeah, for
decision,
sure.
homie, he rolls with his decision. It's going to take an injury probably to remove Trey before he loses like 4 games. I don't think Kyle would make the switch, even if we lose this game. Trey will still start week 3 going into the 3rd game. So, man, I
mean,
really go ahead.
I could say that week 1, bro. Again, I think we both said it while the game was going on that it's not a real evaluation of Trey, right? Like I said, the monsoon, it was a toss up game. I don't think that it mattered who was extremely better and who was not, right? Once that rain element came into play, it was a toss up game, right? So it's not a true evaluation aside from like the multiple penalties that we had on defense. But I think this game should be different, right? I think Trey will look a little bit better. I'm not concerned I don't think we're going to lose. I'm not afraid of it. I think our front seven is way many moons better than Denver's front seven. I mean,
Yeah.
Gino was getting clean looks in there. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's going to
Mhm.
happen with us. So I'm not too concerned. Again, people thought the Broncos were going to look good because they got Russell Wilson, because they got Patrick Surtain. But I mean, I wasn't too impressed with it, and especially with all those penalties that Denver had. I think they had 101 yards in penalties. They only lost by 1 point. I mean, you know, Seattle couldn't really capitalize on those opportunities, you know, just winning 17-16. So
Yeah.
it's a rivalry game, so it could play out differently, but I'm not concerned. I don't know why all these fans all of a sudden were panicking. I know a lot of people are very unsure about Trey Lance now, especially after week 1. But like you and me said, it's not real. It's not a real. We can't judge him. It's a monsoon out there. I can't say like, yeah, the dude's good or not.
Right.
Right. So I'm not concerned. I think we'll bounce back. I think we'll be 1-1. So, you know, but if we were to lose and go 0-2, bro, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Jimmy fan. I like Jimmy, but I want Trey to be the starter. I'm rooting for Trey. I hope he shows out next week. But if you go 0-2, like you said in this division, man, it's risky to go 0-3. You throw the season away, and that locker room turns on you. And all these guys on long contracts, man, you better do something to smooth it over. Because essentially you just said, nah, you guys, you know what? The development of this guy is a lot more important than the Super Bowl this year.
And Kyle may feel that way. Kyle may feel like, you know, a lot of people say that Kyle's tenure with the 49ers is now linked to Trey Lance and Trey Lance's success. So I don't think Kyle will be so quick to throw it away. He's going to ride with Trey. But like you just said, bro, I wouldn't be surprised if we came out and we go up 14-0 in that game, because I think Kyle's he's going to draw some shit up. He has to. You can't come out being vanilla. Yeah, we're going to run the ball. That's what we do. We're going to run the ball. We're going to punch him in the mouth. But I really believe he's going to have some trick shit drawn up. You have to do it this game. This has got to be the game right here. I know it's only week 2, but if you got anything that you holding in your deck of cards, Kyle, you need to lay that down. Put your whole, as they say in poker, all in. We going all in. I need Kyle to go all in on this one, bro.
Let Trey use some of that magic he has. Stop being that strict ass parent that doesn't allow your kid to do anything. Like if he has it, let him do it. Because you're scaring Trey. You put him in a shell, and he won't be able to. I'm saying he won't be able to progress and evolve if you consistently keep him in a box. You know, because we know Kyle is very strict on the way he wants to play, how things are done, but. Let that magic happen sometimes. If the play just collapses, there's nothing there. Let him improvise. And it seems like at least week 1, he wasn't allowed to do that. He's gonna get injured, bro, just running downhill like that.
Right. And maybe the weather, though. Maybe the weather played a factor in Kyle really opening up the book and letting Trey really do his thing. But you know what I want to see? Because after I watched this game and I saw how Denver's receiving core was carving up Seattle secondary, Jerry Jeudy had over 100 yards receiving. And at one point, it looked like they couldn't stop Jeudy. He was eating. They were marching down the field. Cortland Sutton, neither one of these dudes I just named or Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuels. You know what I mean? Come on, bro. I want to see Kyle draw some shit up. I want to see, hey, man, can we get Danny Gray in the game? I ain't see Danny Gray not a play last game.
That was a weird one. He was inactive. That was a weird one. And Trey has chemistry with him. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these things don't make sense, bro. They don't make sense. Don't make sense.
There's not
Brandon Ayuk only got 3 targets.
Come on, but there's not a DB in Seattle that can guard these guys that I just named. The speed of Danny Gray, take the top off. I don't know if you saw it or not, but what's the name of the safety for Seattle?
Adams. Yeah, he's out, right? Jamal Adams.
He's out. Yeah. So come on, man. Let's attack.
Not that I was worried about him.
Not that I was
worried about him. He tried to intercept the ball with his helmet, and he said he was this close.
Hey, and he was, but hey, let's attack Seattle. Let's really go at him. Let's try to punch him in the mouth and get this dub. You know, the 49er way. That's what I want to see. So yeah, let's go ahead and roll it on, man.
That was the last topic, man.
Is
So I mean,
that
unless you got
it?
anything else you want, yeah. Unless you got something else you
Oh
want to freestyle.
shit. Running backs. I just want to touch this then real quick.
Yeah.
Ty Davis Price didn't dress for the Chicago game. Now that we got an injury, it should be Jeff Wilson Jr., Mason, Ty Davis Price all should dress for this game.
Mason should
Let's pump
start.
them in the mouth. You know what I mean? Let's pound these fools out. Let's see what happens if we can really run the ball the way the 49ers run the football. And I just, man, I'm so upset at the same time because I know how Seattle does us. And I know how hard it is for us to beat Seattle.
But
So
Russell Wilson, it was Russell Wilson that would do us. You know what I'm saying?
Look, Russell Wilson didn't play defense, and it was always hard to score on Seattle too. It's something about Pete Carroll.
That's true.
Maybe he's something about him being a 49er back in the day. Something about Pete Carroll. He knows what he's doing on that defensive side, bro. He draws up some crazy shit. And I wouldn't be surprised if Pete Carroll does the exact same thing that I saw Chicago do and put Trey in a position where, Trey, you're going to have to beat us. We're going to load up that box. We're going to send this pressure, and they're going to force Trey Lance to make plays. The thing is, we have the weapons. We have the receivers that can get open, that can make it happen. It ain't going to be rainy and crazy like that in Seattle. We should be able to do it. And you know what? Jeff Wilson Jr. is an exceptional receiving running back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Let's have him run out. I didn't see too many running backs running routes or anything like that in the first game. Maybe blame it on the rain. I want to see all of that. I want to see the Arsenal go crazy, bro. Like, something needs to happen.
Yeah. I also think, again, it just needs to be more creativity in the game con. Like I said, I understand we paid Debo, but Debo looked like he was a little bit out of shape. Like, you could tell he hadn't played football in a minute. Yeah, he did score a touchdown, but force feeding them right now, bro, it's just too obvious.
Yeah.
And we were doing a lot of force feeding.
And his fumble cost us. That fumble in what was it, inside the 5, inside the 10?
Yeah.
That fumble cost us, bro. We score on that drive, we're probably looking at a completely different game. We're probably looking at a 17-0 game instead of a 10-0 game.
Yeah.
You never know what happens, bro. But you got anything else you want to add, brother?
No, man, that's it.
That's it. Well, hey, like, subscribe, join the ride. You feel me? Mess with us the long way.
Yes, sir.
This has been another one. We'll bring you another one when the game is over after week 2, after the Seattle game.
Let's hope for
signing off, man. Hey, from the Beta LA 49er podcast, your boy LeBron. It's my boy Primo. Let's get it, man. We'll be back at y'all with the next one. Let's go.
Yes, sir.